Suffering for years, Kratos, the once great general, now known as the Ghost of Sparta, had pledged himself as a champion to the gods of Olympus. In return, he hoped only to rid himself of the nightmares that haunted him for far too long.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is no hope.
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness.
Hello guys, I'm Shop back once again. Shout out to the video. The God of War trilogy, the Greek trilogy, is being remade. I guess these are showing up at today's State of Play by PlayStation, and just genuine opinions. I'm concerned. Now, why would you be concerned? It's quite simple. I'm concerned because, like I mentioned before, since no one knows the difference between a remake or a remaster, or they blatantly selling false advertisement. And that is, are we going to get a Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy type situation? Or are we going to get a Resident Evil 2 and 3 situation? I feel like I'm missing one. Like Dark Souls and like... what else? And Silent Hill 2. Well, you know, those small changes in atmosphere don't matter. You could just do whatever you want. And in this particular case, compared to like a Dark Souls or like a Silent Hill atmosphere changes, right? Or some story changes, right? I'm personally concerned with how they tried to paint Kratos and his behavior in the previous trilogy of games. The way people, especially the fans and directors, talk about that Kratos just did things on a whim. He was a monster. Pause. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. So a quick history lesson for those who don't know. Kratos grew up as a Spartan since he was a small boy, so it is what it is. People gotta get slaughtered. People gotta get slaughtered. And then doing one day, since he kept not going back to his own family, and he kept going more and more for conquest, he met his match, which is a group of barbarians, and them barbarians slaughtered his entire army. Kratos, on his last legs, instead of dying like he's supposed to, chose to call out to the god Ares to save and spare his life. And his life is yours. And after doing that, Ares robbed at the barbarians, and Kratos becomes a herald of Ares. Which everything was fine and dandy until, you know, Ares convinced him to slaughter his own wife and child. And then next thing you know what happens? For over 10 years, like a God of War Ascension happened, right? He broke his oath to Ares, now he can just live, right? For 10 years, the gods of Olympus lied to him and manipulated him into doing all their dirty work while refusing to take away Kratos' visions that tormented him all the time. And this went on for 10 plus years, to the point where by the time we see him in God of War 1, he's on suicide watch. He no longer has any interest in living. So I'd like to know, with that plot point I just told you, where was this mindless slaughterer come from? You can't bring up the stuff when he was being manipulated by Ares. So you gotta be implying before he got in touch with Ares, right? I can't feel bad during a time period where everybody's getting conquered and slaughtered. I just don't. Does it make him a best guy? No. Does it help make him some supervillain? No. Way much. Yeah. That's another thing. People keep bringing up God of War 3 like that's the entirety of God of War. Since when? They got memory like goldfish. But back to the main point. So this whole plot point. If the gods of Olympus would have did what they promised, this would never happen. If Zeus didn't get the same fear Kronos had, this would never happen. Kratos, as guilty as he is as much as a victim. But of course, you're never going to talk about it. So when it comes to the remake trilogy, and they're bringing back TJ Clarson, that should be great. It should be. Now, how much I'd love to see TJ Clarson record his old lines and bring some more emphasis to it. I'm concerned that this remake will be a reimagining, and they're going to try to paint Kratos in this new image to help boost up this new God of War TV show that's going to be starring Ryan Hurst. Now, some might say, why would it be starring Ryan Hurst? He played the voice of Thor, alright? And I don't know how big or how tall he is, but why? How do you go from Thor voice actor to playing Kratos? Maybe he got the physique for Kratos, right? My only problem is he doesn't look like young Kratos. Because old Kratos without his beard just looked like an older young Kratos. So who's going to play young Kratos? So this is how I personally see it. Now I could be completely wrong. Like this is still like it didn't say if it was in pre-production, where they're planning it, or they're actually in early production of doing the sound design, getting the plot together, and doing the early levels, like the behind the scenes of God of War Ascension, right? And that if that's the case, we'll get it released at what 2028, 20 not 2028, 2029, 2020, 2030, possibly at the latest. If it's like a complete first, like an entire trilogy remake, unless they're doing the Crash Bandicoot, if they're actually doing it, I don't know, man. Those are a whole lot of models to update and make high textures, a lot of things to do. Which goes into another concern I have. I swear if they touch that combat, they gotta be war. I'm sorry, I don't care. If they touch the combat, if they touch that story, it's gonna be war. I'm not gonna be playing this slop. Cause I didn't come here to watch a reimagining to try to paint Kratos worse than what he actually was. Because that's what 2018 and God of War Ragnarok said. And it's just, I really hope they don't do that. And the only reason they would do that is to appeal to misconceptions and people who never played God of War and make them feel better. Because Kratos is a complex character. He's not some savage brute or a brain-dead monster. The God of War 3 plotline with Pandora proves that. But even with that, right? Does it justify him taking out Poseidon's daughter like that? No, it doesn't. But from that same merit, at that point, Kratos was already beyond no returns. He's taken out Athena. He's been betrayed by Zeus and the Olympian gods for the last time. Backstabbed, lied to, and betrayed. And after a certain point, you just there's no seeing rational reason. But I was supposed to feel bad. I never understood why Kratos never told Atreus what happened to his with his real lineage. Is it truly important? No. But it just what happened happened. I don't know. I don't know. Cause it's not just it's one thing happened. Like you slaughtered, like all your kinfolk, like everybody, like everybody. Well, not everybody. Like Aphrodite, like you got a few others, Apollo and them, but it's just pretty much everybody. So I don't know, but I don't know. I have some major concerns. Would they change the gameplay? I hope they wouldn't. At most, they'll make a few tweaks and that's it. But if they try to make everything like God of War 3, garbage, because God of War 1, 2, and 3 do not play the same. Anybody who played those three games can obviously tell the base weapons, whether it's the Blades of Chaos, whether it's the Blades of Athena, whether it's the Blades of Exiles, all three of those play differently. Different speed, different way to get used, different upgrades. That's another case of concern. Now we don't know if they're gonna remake Ascension. They might not. I'm indifferent to it. They just might do a remaster port, which is nothing wrong. The Ascension isn't a bad game, but it's one of those things where you won the race and we're just doing an extra victory. Like I like this. It's all right, but it's nothing bad. But I'm just very concerned with what they mean by a remake. Cause if it's just like a straight Crash Bandicoot, that'd be great. But if we're talking about like a reimagining, like some Resident Evil type activity, I'm concerned. Very. Not including the character designs. Are they gonna try to censor the what they call the uh but it's like a prostitute, but it's just the concubines. Are they gonna censor the concubines? Are they gonna try to censor it and remove some of the nudity? Are they gonna try to reduce some of the brutality? Because now that we haven't seen it done before with other remakes or reimagining, so it is a reason to bring up concern with the way people behind the scenes at Sony talked about young Kratos like he's just some blatant monster, and that's not true. Hades got what he deserved. Poseidon got what he deserved. Hermes got what he deserved. For Hephaestus got what he deserved. Hera, she should have shut her fat mouth, got what she deserved. Hercules, he could have walked away. He got what, like, beside from Poseidon's daughter, everybody else got what was coming to him. For years, what they did against mortals. For years about what they did to these other people. But I'm supposed to feel bad he went on a tirade and slaughtered them. That's the monster Zeus made. But I'm supposed to feel bad. Kratos is some horrible guy. Since when? It ain't like he never truly especially with the Valhalla DLC, he never addresses the real problems that led to him being the man he was at all. Similar how most of his godhood outside of Ghost of Sparta is never explained. It's never elaborated on. We never get to see the lead up to Kratos sending his army to attack Athens. We never see that. We never see that. You just Kratos this monster. He just does anything. Like what games were you playing? Oh, that's right. You didn't play those games because wait a minute. You can download all these emulators. You can do all these things, but you can't play the PS2 trilogy, which you can get it on PS3 or or emulator, PS2 emulator. You can't play those games, or even watch the cutscene movies online. But of course, you know what time it is, kids. Everybody buys into it as a true. I'm not finna let this Kratos slander happen. If they change anything with this story, I will be there to talk about it and roast it into oblivion. I'm not doing it. Cause Kratos, unlike how they try to paint him as, is a very complex character with a lot of tragedy, a lot of heartbreak. That whole scene with Chain of Olympus, where he's forcing any happiness with his daughter away to save the world for the Olympian gods. And what did he get for it? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. They take all his power away and just leave him there like a bum. Betrayed once again. Which goes to the biggest case with this whole quote-unquote Valhalla series, right? This Norse duality, right? They never address. Maybe I'm crazy. Whatever happened to Kratos' visions? But I don't recall no text from 2018. I don't recall anyone mentioning in Ragnarok that his visions went away. And we could have used the Valhalla's DLC, where he finally able to put the visions to rest by his own. Is that ever addressed? As far as I'm concerned, no. Because Helios said, well, why did you kill me, Kratos? You deserve to die like your brother, and I don't feel bad for you, buddy. Today I forgot after I saved your behind in Chains of Olympus, and then you dare turn your blade against me? You get what you deserve. Everybody's complicit in it. Everybody. We don't want to see why Hades and Poseidon fighting with Zeus anyway. When Poseidon sat there and watched Kratos, Zeus' son, destroy the entirety of Atlantis, and Zeus said nothing. But you still want to be loyal to that guy? But Kratos, how dare you kill my queen, Kratos? Pause. Wasn't it your brother, Zeus, Hades, who sent me to go slay your queen, who was trying to end the world? But you take that against me, huh? I guess Zeus don't gotta take responsibility for nothing, huh? And I'm supposed to feel bad that Kratos beat him to a bloody pulp. He got what he deserved like everybody else in that game. Besides from Poseidon's daughter, everybody else got what was coming to him. Hephaestus could have lived. Hercules, Hera, they could have lived. Hermes, he could have went to go take a hike. This was a beef only between Kratos and Zeus. They chose not to walk away. Poseidon chose not to walk away. Hades chose not to walk away. But these are the same people that say, but the themes, and be a bigger man. Until Kratos, like, it is what it is. But I do have some valid, serious concerns about how this remake would supposedly be handled. If it's a one-to-one, and they're just bringing in TJ Clarson to record his lines so it can be more updated with modern day, audio, I got no problem with that. But then you're going to also bring back the other guys, which we don't know what they're going to do behind the scenes, but it might be used to clip. We don't know. But if they bring back TJ Clarson to read new dialogue, that's a problem. Because whatever that dialogue is going to be, it's going to confirm whatever bodies they got against their original Kratos. I don't know. I try. Because I have a feeling that this new trilogy is only being made. Because remember last year, God of War came out in 2005. That was 1 year before the PS3 or Xbox 360 came out. 1 year. I think Xbox came out first, and for a cheaper price than PlayStation. On which, ironically, the same thing the PS4 did to the Xbox One was the same thing the 360 did to the PS3. Back to the main point. It came out back then, right? So last year, when everybody was expecting, alright, it's going to be God of War 20th anniversary, we're going to get a remake announcement. We got nothing. But we give it out this year. So maybe, but that's the earliest. It's not coming out next year. Not at all. So, but I don't know, man. I'm very concerned what they call a remake, because it's just like we get no gameplay footage. Are they going to change the model of Kratos and try to make him look like his Ragnarok counterpart, where it's just Ragnarok in 2018, Kratos is built like an older man. Young Kratos is built like a younger man. He's not as even throughout. He's built more like a tree instead of like an inverted triangle. Yes, we're using Baki logic. He's built more like a tree than he is like an inverted triangle. But you know, all those are tiny things that don't happen. Sure, if they keep the story the same. But this is just a prelude to like a major semi-retelling and trying to recontextualize this whole story. It's like how people try to paint Zeus as some victim. Zeus got what he deserves, but it was the fear inside the box. So that's why he did that to Deimos. Huh? Before Kratos opened up the box, that's why he snatched Deimos away from him. Huh? I guess you're gonna blame that on the fear in the Pandora's box too, huh? That's why he turned his mother into a Kratos' mother into a monster, huh? I guess you gotta go blame, like technically there's no innocent parties here, but Kratos is a victim. He really is. Uh, I won't try to sit here and paint him as some type of morality innocent man, but if you play any God of War game, it is only God of War 3 where you can kill normal civilians and get health from them. It's only that game. I played the demos of Chain of Olympus, Ghost of Sparta. I beat the first two games of my PlayStation Vita several times on the hardest difficulties. And I beat God of War 3 on the PS4, the remaster, in which, depending on how them graphic looks, could look magnificent. But I don't know. I don't know. I would like to believe and take this as, well, you should be happy. Now you can't. Since 2015, you can't just be buying games casually and just be happy. Nah. Are they gonna cut levels out of this game like they did with Resident Evil 2, like they did with Resident Evil 3 and 4? Huh? Are we gonna get the complete game? Huh? I'm not saying Santa Monica has any ill will. I'm just saying these are plausible concerns that hopefully we can get this answered by the community manager and things like that. That it will be like the original game. There will be no cut content. If that happens, then whatever type of minor tweaks is irrelevant. Besides from just unnecessary censorship. Outside of that, if it's all the same story, I got no problem with that. But if it's not, I'll be here hopefully to roast it into oblivion. Because I'm not gonna let y'all paint this narrative that Kratos is some type of mindless monster. It's like the whole Odin speech. Like, what did you hear about Kratos? You didn't hear all the time he spent as a god? All them years? And even then, when they made him a god, they refused to take away the visions, which led to Ghost of Sparta. Once again, I'm supposed to feel bad for Zeus? Nope. I don't. I don't at all. So I'd like to know your thoughts, opinions about this. Do you believe the God of War Trilogy Remake are in good hands? Do you have any concerns like I do? Because I much I would like to take away from it. It will be great, it will be this and that. We don't got no gameplay. We don't have any details, no interviews, no nothing. We just after blind faith in current times, blind faith. Nah, that's not happening. So let's just make this video to let out some concerns I have about this trilogy. Because as far as we can know, this could go really good. It can go mediocre. Because hopefully we're not talking about like a San Andreas type that GTA trilogy remaster, quote unquote, whatever that abomination was. Hopefully not. On which for like that whole thing is different. So it is from a bigger team. This is like a Santa Monica type thing. I'm gonna have to relook at the trailer and see who's development. If it is from Santa Monica main team or it's a side Santa Monica team that's been working on it. That's also an important detail. But yeah, I'm just not here for this whole, well, Kratos is some type of monster. Like this man didn't care about his family. Like this man didn't have like a harsh childhood. Like they didn't snatch one of the key things he loved in his life, his brother, away from him. To the point when Deimos got mad at him, he let Deimos beat him halfway to death because he couldn't bring himself to hurt his own brother. But he's a heartless monster. He's a monster. He just sleeps with concubines and kills people, and he kills without cause. Now these are the same people that sit around and say that people should grow up and be mature. Okay. It is what it is. But outside of that, is everything just a remake? Just tweak some things, same gameplay, same story, just brought on some brand new consoles with new graphics? Hey, this could be one of the best or most successful remakes in the current era. The God of War is bigger than Crash and the rest of them. So hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and but if we can look, I hear you guys' thoughts on the pen. Because one thing I'll leave you all to is this: do you believe in this theory that if this is not confirmed by anybody, if they do change something with their trilogy story, are they only changing it to fit the TV show? Just like how the Fallout TV show is changing the game lore just to fit the TV show and for the next game. Hopefully that does not happen. But hey, we gotta see. But even then, with the God of War TV show, why would I want a God of War TV show set in Norse mythology? Why? You think what we're gonna get young Kratos in flashbacks? Like we could have easily just pack everything. Like we can cut out like the Ghost of Sparta stuff can be like a TV special in a movie, right? Or a Change in Olympus, right? We talking about the main story, God of War 1, 2, and 3. You could fit like that can be easily 3 seasons. In season 3 and 4, it's just 2018 and Ragnarok. Like why are we starting with the North trilogy? Why? Like you see why I'll be concerned about that, right? Why start right there when the story starts years before? You're going to explain a lot of things to people. A lot. And I know this is what it is. Look, I'm just preparing people or just voicing out my concerns before any surprises happen. Because we've seen too many times in recent history where they claim one thing, everybody get excited, and they show off what they're talking about, and now everybody's mad. And it's too late to complain. It's too late to bring up any concerns because you waited to the last minute. Because what they're doing it in good faith. Okay. Yeah, that's more or less it. Cause that's why start right there. Cause God of War 2018, that's not really a plot by itself. If you play that game with no context to the Greek trilogy, what do you know about Kratos? Truthfully. I'm not even joking. If you play 2018 with no Greek trilogy or Greek game context, what do you actually know about Kratos? They vaguely mention he used to be somebody. They bring up Zeus. You see that Potter tree of he on it. Mimir calls him the Ghost of Sparta. And you kind of don't know anything about who he used to be. But that could just bring up God of War 3. That's not who he is at the pure core. That's him at his maximum. It'd be like taking what would be the perfect case? What would be the perfect case for this? It'd be like taking Batman when he's beating on the Joker to find out where Rachel is as a default example of that's what Batman acts like 24/7. It's not. Batman is not always that angry. Batman is not some blind brute that just cripple anybody you come across. Like you're doing some extreme crime, you deserve to get your jaw broken. But just you carjacking, you can get your whole spine rearranged, so you're gonna end up paralyzed from the neck down. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. But according to that interrogation thing, he's just a wild animal. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I like to hope for the best. I hope this is not 20 minutes. I really do. But all we can do now, we got no footage, no gameplay. We don't even know who's too much developed. We just know they brought back TC Clarson. And hey, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and but until we can like, comment, subscribe, and I'll say, let's leave it with some more positive. What is your favorite God of War game? Me personally, I have to say God of War 2. I don't know. They're like a really solid good games. I just haven't beat Ghost of Sparta. I just played the demo, just like Change in Olympus. But you want to talk about like that's the thing. Like the special abilities in God of War 2 are just really the ones from 1. You could say that God of War 3 got way better weapons to use. Ascension don't count in this top 3 conversation. Like I like Ascension. They try to rework the wheel. but it's not the pinnacle of God of War combat. So it's just 2018 is more definitely not. You played it on the hardest difficulty, you understand. You got way too many flaws. So I guess God of War 1 would be second, but I guess I gotta go with God of War 2 with the Golden Fleece, with the bow and arrow, with the Atlas ground pound, with the Zeus electricity, and with the Warhammer you get, and with the story it tells. I'd say God of War 3 personally. Not just pure story. If I had a chance to beat Ghost of Sparta, I might have to give it to Ghost of Sparta. You get a lot of Kratos backstory in that. If you're just talking about pure story, but game overall that I've played and beaten has to be God of War 2. But if you didn't do, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.